So I added RPG stats to Minecraft, and once you have the Datapack installed, you'll notice when you spawn in your world or you load it up for the first time, you'll be put on this little menu here where you have a point buy, maximum stat size, and then 6 stats. And these are the 6 stats you can have: Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. And it costs 1 point to increase the stat and 1 point to remove it. But increasing a stat above 13 requires 2 points. And this works for all the stats. And then once you have finished with your stats, you'll have point buy of 0, and then you'll spawn into the world. Alright, the first stat is Strength, and this determines how much damage you do with how much additional damage you deal. So at 10, you deal the normal amount of damage, 8 or 9, you deal less damage, and then 11 and above, you deal more damage. So right now I have a 15 Strength, and if I hit this chicken, you can see I can 2-shot him with my fists. The next stat is Dexterity, and this determines how fast you walk. And right now I have a 15 Dexterity, and you can see I'm running around really quickly. But if I had an 8 or a 9 Dexterity, I would walk slower than normal. The next stat is Constitution, and whatever your Constitution score is, it determines how many hearts you have. So if you have 8 or 9, you'll have less hearts than normal, but 11 or above, you'll have more hearts than normal. The next stat is Intelligence, and this means whenever you hit someone with a stick, you have a chance to cast a spell on them, which will give them Wither and do the full particle effect. And the higher your intelligence is, the more likely it is for you to cast this spell. And if you have a negative intelligence, or an 8 and 9, that means you randomly lose experience. Alright, the next stat is Wisdom, and if you have a negative Wisdom, which is an 8 or a 9, you'll randomly gain the Hunger effect and lose Hunger. But if you have an 11 or higher, you will randomly gain Saturation, and you'll randomly scavenge up food. And your chance to scavenge up food increases as you increase your Wisdom. Final stat is Charisma. And what Charisma will let you do is when you trade with villagers, if you have a positive Charisma, it will give you a discount on all deals. And if you have a negative Charisma, it will increase the cost of all trades. You also have a leveling system, which will increase after you complete certain achievements. So, for example, level 1 and 2 is collect a copper ingot, and then collect a diamond ingot. So if we collect ourselves a copper ingot, you'll see we'll get level 1. And that will give us 1 luck point. And luck points are right here. And they are measured by and they increase your chance of getting loot and fishing drops. So they're kind of useful. Alright, next, if we give ourselves a diamond, however, and this will get us to level 2, you'll see it opens up this new screen where it will give us 2 new point buy, but the maximum for a stat is 20. So that means we can increase a stat up to 16. And then the next one is kill a pillager. So if we summon a pillager in, and then we give ourselves a sword, you will see we reach level 3, and we get +1 luck point, which means our chances of getting loot dramatically increase. And you can see, you can keep going down, and the capstone is level 20, and the achievements get harder and harder as you approach level 20. Once you do start increasing your stats to 20, you get a special ability for each stat when you increase it to 20. So if we push this button, it will give us 20 in every stat. So let's show these off. So the first one is Strength. And with the 20 Strength, whenever you hit a mob in melee, you have like an Iron Golem attack, and you launch them into the air. Pretty simple. Alright, Dexterity. is next, and this is whenever you hit a mob, you freeze them in place, you get a burst of movement seed. So this is nice for getting away. The next one is Constitution, which means you just take 40% less damage from every source and are immune to the poison effect. So if we let this spider hit me, you can see we are not getting poisoned. Alright. The next one is Intelligence, and whenever you hold a block of copper in your inventory and sneak for more than 3 seconds, you will get a special item that you can craft. And quickly, in this chest are all the items. Pause if you want more time to look at those, and most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Alright, next up is Wisdom, which, when you have a 20 Wisdom, you gain Night Vision permanently, and then also if you shoot something with a bow, you don't have to fully draw it back to gain a crit, and your arrows all have the piercing effect, which means they can go through multiple mobs. And finally, we have Charisma, which if you have a 20 Charisma, for all villagers' deals just become 1 emerald. If we look here, you can see it's 1 paper for 1 emerald and 1 emerald for 1 bookshelf. Everything is just reduced down to 1. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. Download link in the description below.